What is it that makes a message effective? What are the key pieces? And what will we be working with when we start to write a message? Remember in my introduction to this course how I talked about I never knew exactly what to say or where to start? Well, now we're going to change that. We're going to start by providing the structure and then get into the system of how to write a killer message. So what are the 6 pieces that every effective or every great message has? Let me show you quickly. First off is the subject line. Just right up here. You can see I used something that was interesting for this particular candidate and message. The second part is the greeting. By now you should know that casual is really the style of the messages that we want to write. If you haven't picked that up, now's a good time to make a note of that. Next is the leading line, kind of like a punchline in a joke. That's the leading line of your message. The next part is what I call the connector, and that's this section right here in the message. See how I connected kind of his interest with the work that we're doing? Kind of gave that person the immediate response and bridge to say, wow, this person knows exactly what I've been doing. And then the 5th part is what I like to call the bait. This is where you're going to use language to frame up the opportunity for the candidate and really start to use you language so that person begins to see themselves in this utopia state or starts to picture what it would be like to do this work. The 6th and final part that every great message has to have is a close. Notice how I did that here with a direct question. So we covered that pretty quickly, but I want to review it with you here. The 6 parts of every great message are: number 1, subject line, greeting, leading line, connector, bait, and close. And here's some bonus material on each of these pieces. The simplest, most highly effective subject line I tend to use has been candidate name dash company name. Example, Clinton Bilter dash VMware. I've also experimented with including their current title and had similar positive results. Keep in mind you want to keep the subject line relatively short because you don't want it to be 10 words long. It just looks odd and will probably get your message deleted or flagged for spam. On the greetings section, by now, hopefully I've done a good job of teaching and showing you that casual is really our game. I like to use hi, hey, or just their first name. You're gonna know your target candidate and audience best, so just adjust this accordingly. And then the leading line, I look at it like telling a joke. You want to develop a simple question or statement that engages the reader. Remember back when we talked about copywriting frameworks and how the first thing that they try and do is get your attention? We're trying to do that same thing here. To me, a connector does 2 things. First, it's personalized proof that you know exactly who your candidate is and why you're seeking them out. And secondly, it acts as an entry point for you to begin to connect and tap into their needs. Number 5, start using you language where you're framing up the opportunity from the candidate's viewpoint. And number 6, you'll see me when I'm working and writing messages either end with a question or direct call to action. And we'll study that more as we get into the system, but here are the 6 parts of every great message.